Hi there, my name is Kudabear. I've been playing RuneScape on and off since 2005. During that time I've played lots of restricted accounts, but I've never played the game as it was intended since 2011. Now, I'm seeking to change that by building a main to endgame content as fast as possible using routing and macro efficiency. Welcome back to Macroefficient Main. Hello, and welcome back to Macroefficient Main, episode 14. So unfortunately, we've hit a point in the account where the best thing for us to do is to move forward with a bunch of skilling grinds. As you can see on screen now, I'm still missing the majority of skills that I need in order to obtain the quest cape, so we have a lot ahead of us still. I'm going to go ahead and start off with woodcutting. Yep, we need 70 for the quest cape. It's going to be one of the longer grinds in front of us, so it's one of the first ones I want to knock out. So I'm going to be chopping the teak trees here that I grew on Fossil Island. I'm going to attempt to do the 1.5 tick method. I'm probably going to fail, and I'm going to wind up AFKing most of it. But I'll try to do this when I can just to speed it up. Plus, I kind of want to learn it. He then proceeded to do absolutely nothing of the sort. And there we go, 58 woodcutting, which is a pretty inconsequential level, but does have one notable unlock related to it. I realized you can equip the Dragon Axe right away from 60 attack, regardless of having the woodcutting level to actually use it. So if you see here, I'm actually chopping with the Rune Axe, but if I use the Dragon Axe special, it puts me up to 61 woodcutting, and I can start chopping with the dragon. I can obviously only do this for a minute, but it will help speed up the experience rates quite a bit from 58 to 61. 64 woodcutting, which is a pretty notable level as it'll allow us to move on to our next method. Now, technically you need 65 woodcutting to be able to do this method, which is Salsep cutting. However, with the Dragon Axe special attack, I can boost up above the requirement for a little while, and then I'll also use Axeman's Follies to get up in the interim while waiting for my special attack energy to recharge. However, before we start that Salsep mushroom grind, I want to go ahead and jump on some mining. The skill of the week for my clan just started, and that is actually going to be mining this week, so I'm going to try to get as much mining experience gain as I can. The requirement is 70 for the quest cape, so I have a long way to go. I don't think I'll make it all the way there this week, but getting some knocked out now would be good fun and hopefully make the grind a little less painful. I was going to initially do this grind at Motherlode Mine using an AFK method, but I don't really see a point in doing that anymore. I'm just going to get it done at Iron as fast as possible. And of course, if you're interested in joining a clan, Cubbyhole is always open. Just go ahead and pop in here as a guest, ask anyone for an invite, and you'll get one. Also, the Discord is linked below if you'd like to participate in the Skill of the Week challenges. They are hosted there. There's 57 mining. I am not a fan of this grind already, but that's notable as it allows us to move on to our next location. And I've never actually done this before, but I can use the Dragon Pickaxe to boost up to 60 mining, and it should allow me into the mining guild, and it does, which is great. What I'm not entirely sure is if it will allow me to stay here as the level drains down. So let's see if this works. And there we go, proof that you can actually stay here beyond the boost wearing off. And the nice thing about being here is that the rocks respawn twice as fast. So as you can see here, unlike at Lovekenge, I'm able to constantly mine iron and I don't ever have to wait. So it's just a little bit faster, plus I'll be stacking up unidentified minerals that I could use to get mining gloves later on. That said, with all these bonuses, it's still going to be a heck of a grind and I have a lot in front of me. Oh, and yes, I did have to liquidate a good portion of my bank in order to buy this, but it's no big deal because I can just sell it back after this grind. A little bit of a pivot here, but here's 50 herb lore, which unblocks me for getting my Tears of Guthix experience into Slayer for a little while again. I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and do Tar up to 70 herb lore, as it's going to save me a lot of money while only costing me about 3 to 4 extra hours of training, which feels worth it at this point in the account. And unsurprisingly, as you probably expect, there's 50 construction to follow it up, so pretty much base 50s except for Slayer, which is pretty cool. Also, this feels like deja vu. Are we going to do this every episode where I train herb lore and construction to get my Slayer up via Tears of Guthix? There we go, 47 Slayer. Gotta love the Tears of Guthix experience. Haven't barely even trained Slayer at all. And unfortunately, we have to return to mining. But there's 61, which is pretty nice, as now I can use the Dragon Pickaxe all the time. Though it's not a huge help here at the Iron Rocks. It does help a little though. Oh man, this joke is gonna be so funny. Everyone's gonna love it. The video's gonna get like 1,000 likes. Everyone's gonna crack up in the comments. It's gonna be so funny. Man, I'm such a genius for making this joke. Oh shoot, wait, what? Wrong series. Finally, 70 mining. This has been by far the worst grind that I've done on this account so far. Oh my goodness. Full disclosure here, back when I said the skill of the week for my clan just started, that was almost 2 weeks ago. I think the fact that this is an active task, i.e. something I can't really AFK, coupled with the fact that I have been so incredibly busy the last 2 weeks, has made this grind just incredibly painful. The very little amount of time I've been able to play has been put into power mining iron, which is just not fun. I honestly seriously considered going to the motherlode mine, and I probably just should have. I bet I probably would have gotten it done faster, even though my playtime would have been more. But thankfully, we are all done with this one. Ugh. One kind of nice small thing about knocking out the mining grind the way I did though is I did get a lot of unidentified minerals, which could be handy in the future. I went ahead and bought the regular mining gloves when I got 60. However, I didn't realize they don't actually help with iron mining at all, so it was kind of a needless purchase. However, I'm still glad to have them because they might be useful in the future. With that annoying grind out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into our next super annoying grind, which is going to be fire making. Ugh. This has to go all the way to 66 for the quest cape. Thankfully, it should be a lot faster. I went ahead and splurged on some of the best logs I can burn, mahogany, and then I'll move to use at 60. It should be pretty straightforward, just doing the line G fire making method here. Of course, as I've showcased before on this channel, it's pretty easy and it's pretty fast, but it's pretty boring. Ugh. Oh, and you might think I'm kind of crazy for burning these mahogany logs, but actually they're really cheap, so it's not too bad. A little bit more than a U log. And there's 60 fire making. Now we can go ahead and move on to use. And if you're wondering, I did swap to maples for the last 20 logs just because I ran out of mahoganies and didn't want to buy more, and I had these in the bank, so might as well. And of course, the really nice thing about you is that you are really cheap and really easy to light on fire. In fact, I really enjoy burning you, so I'm going to keep doing it until I get through all of you. So let's get it done, you beautiful logs. And finally, 66 fire making. Honestly, not too bad of a grind at all, but I'm still extremely happy to have another skill knocked off of the skill requirements for the quest cape. Another week of insulting Guthix and drinking the beautiful bounty of his tears. I mean, it's not my fault. The dude couldn't even stay alive in RS3. Like, what the heck? But there's 48 Slayer from that, which is awesome. As you can tell, I have not had a lot of active playtime in this video, and a lot of real life time has passed. Oh man. Hey look, it's an entirely new skill you haven't seen yet in this video. Yeah, I don't have a lot of direction in this video. I'm just kind of skill hopping all over the place. But there's 61 crafting. I do need 70 for the quest point cape, but I'll be stopping here as this is the requirement for Lunar Diplomacy. Felt like a good midpoint, and it'll allow me to move on. So the next thing I actually want to do is go knock out 60 prayer. In the last episode, I mentioned that I don't really have the money to go all the way to 70 prayer for piety as part of the series. Now that's definitely a high priority and something that I want to do ASAP as soon as I have the money to do so. But someone in the comments had a great suggestion in going all the way to 60 instead as a sort of midpoint compromise. Now 60 unlocks chivalry, which is basically budget piety and only a little bit better than each of the 15% boosting prayers, but it is still pretty nice to have, and the cool thing is it's only like 400k to get as opposed to like 2.5 mil. So I think it's worth getting, especially before some of the more difficult quests we have coming up. Also, one life hack that I learned on the 2000scape Reddit is it's actually a lot faster to run out and die to the Chaos Fanatic provided no one else is actually killing it. So I definitely recommend that, and I should have brought a bank teleport to make this even faster. Normally you would go and try to pick up that wine forever to die, but the Chaos Fanatic is actually literally right outside and he can really kill you fast. So I already bought about 20 more bones than I technically needed with average luck, and I'm almost short. I need each of these bones to give me about average luck in order to get the level, which is kind of sucky. I've already spent so much extra on this, I don't want to spend any more. It looks like it's going to pay off though. I need 9 more bones. Let's see. Wow. Exactly the amount I needed. What are the chances? 60 prayer and chivalry unlocked. Maybe I can finally defeat this guy now that I have this powerful new prayer. No, probably not. One nice thing about getting the 60 prayer is I'm also able to buy a torn prayer scroll, and that unlocks the preserve prayer, which is a level 55 prayer. This is actually something I wanted for a long time and probably could have gotten sooner, but it's a really nice prayer to have if you're doing anything that requires consistent boosting. Next up, we actually have a little bit of Slayer, and this will be my first time actually training this skill and not just getting passive experience. Won't be here very long though, only need to go up to level 50. Duh, I completely forgot the most important part of training Slayer, and that's actually having a black mask. I don't know how I forgot that. If you're curious as to why I'm training defense as well, it's because I need to get up to 85 combat, and as you can see, if I were to just train ranged, I would need a lot of range levels to get there. So I need to do something a little bit more efficient to get to that, as 85 combat is required for Dream Mentor. And the most useful thing I can do, I think, is train up some defenses. That'll obviously be useful to me as I'm ranging. But after I get that 85 combat, I'm going to be all ranged, all Slayer, at least whenever I possibly can, as I want to get as many range levels as possible. I'm also making use of the new Preserve Prayer I unlocked to maintain my boosted stats here, and I can already whack 30, so this is going great. Alright, here we go, ready to jump back into the game, and oh my god, it's been 14 days. So yeah, this video has been a long time coming. I had been on vacation and just hadn't had a lot of time to play in preparation for that, so here I am, finally ready to get back to it. Let's go ahead and jump back in. And of course, one of the really nice things about being gone for so long is you can come right back and jump immediately back into Tears of Guthix, which is going to be pretty useful here. Thanks to that, I'm able to jump straight to 50 Slayer from where I was, which is pretty nice, as I was not really enjoying doing Slayer, at least at the low level. And that's one of the last requirements we need to begin questing for this episode, so let's start that. And finally, after all of that skilling this episode, let's begin a couple quests. We'll start off with Lunar Diplomacy. I'm excited for this one. I really like this quest. Alright, boom, there's the end of Lunar Diplomacy. Definitely could optimize this quest a lot more if I had fully understood how to go about collecting all of the items from the squaws on the island. I did a lot of unnecessary kills, unfortunately, but even with that, it was not a very long quest at all, and I'm super happy to have it out of the way. It'll be super handy to have the lunar spells in the future. I don't know if I'll end up using them very much for the context of this series, but they'll definitely be used in the future. Okay, with that said, let's move on to our next quest, which is going to be A Kingdom Divided. That's a really new quest that I've never done before, so I'm pretty excited to knock it out. Alright, there's the end of A Kingdom Divided. Man, there was a lot of lore in that quest. The actual boss was not too bad. I did run in for the first time thinking I could just take it on with whatever I had on me, but that was a bad idea. Once I geared up though, it was actually pretty easy. Definitely glad to have this one out of the way though. It's a little annoying that this is a requirement for the quest cape now, as it requires me to get all of the favor for all of the houses ahead of time. Without that and without this quest, it would have saved a lot of time, but at least it's another check off the list on our way to the quest cape now. Go ahead and throw that antique lamp directly onto runecrafting. As always, it's a big 10k one, which is really nice. Up to 54 runecrafting. Super happy with that. Alright, one more big quest to do today, and that's going to be Sins of the Father. Another big quest that I haven't done before, and I'm really excited to jump in for. You folks down in the comments said that I would have some trouble with this quest with my current stats, so we'll see how this goes. I hope we can get it done. Alright, I'm almost to the point now where I need to fight the final boss of the quest, so let's see how this goes. I think I've geared up enough though. Pretty much just going to be a matter of if my stats are high enough, and especially without piety. Let's give it a try.
Fight!
Whew. There we go, the very end of Sins of the Father. Holy crap, that last fight was a lot harder than expected. I must have spent well over $1 million on supplies and death reclaim costs just over the course of the fight. It was definitely very close going in with my stats and without piety for sure. I had to wind up bringing a bunch of Serdom and Bruise just to make sure I could outlast the damage. And even then, I just couldn't get the last phase down very well. So I was taking a lot of damage from lightning bolts. Wow. Super happy to have that one out of the way though. So unfortunately, I cannot bank the Tome of Experience, and I cannot use it on runecrafting until I hit level 60, which I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be doing within the context of the series anyway. So I think I'm going to go ahead and throw it on Agility. It's a lot of experience, and I would really like to have it on runecrafting, but we're really close to the quest cape requirement for runecrafting anyway, and I don't mind doing a little bit of runecrafting down the road if necessary. I'm just glad to get it out of my inventory for now, and Agility Experience is definitely still pretty useful, as it's a pretty slow skill as well. And funnily enough, thinking about experience, I remembered I never actually claimed the RFD lamp, which is one of the only bankable lamps in the entire game, so I will use that on runecrafting now that I'm over level 50. There's 20k experience there, which puts me up to 55, and thereby the requirement for the quest cape there. And that is actually where we're going to go ahead and leave off this episode of Macroefficient Main. Definitely a lot of skilling progress in this episode, and that'll definitely be the case for the remaining episodes in the series, though I think we're getting really close to the end. I'm thinking 2, maybe 3 more videos, and we'll be there. We've only got 12 quests left to do for that quest point cape, and I am so excited, especially having this quest, Sins of the Father, out of the way. One of the big ones. There's a couple more big ones still yet to do though. Taking a look at the total playtime, and unsurprisingly, there was a lot of playtime in this episode. We're over the 10-day mark already, which is kind of ridiculous. I didn't know how long this series would take going into it, but I wasn't sure it would be this long, and we still have a little ways to go. It took over 2 days to get the progress in this video, though a lot of that was just mining, woodcutting, and so forth. Very boring stuff, unfortunately, for multiple tens of hours. We did of course get a handful of Wizard Mind Bombs donations for this episode. They are trickling in slowly, and that's no big deal as the collection continues to grow, which is pretty exciting. If you'd like to contribute though, feel free to give me a message in game. I'd love to see this collection get bigger. As for an actual update on the total number of Wizard's Mind Bombs, 1,213,000. Absolutely ridiculous. That's amazing. And of course, before we go, I can't leave without thanking the members of this channel. I would definitely not be able to create the content that I've been able to create over the last couple months without the support of those who have decided to join. If you'd like to support the channel, this is the best way to do so. There's a link below in the description. And of course, another huge thank you to OneKiller912 and Peepo Time, the 2 members who have joined at that top old school RuneScape tier. Thank you so much for your support. Now that should wrap us up for today. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to get another episode of this series out before the beginning of Trailblazer League 3, so be on the lookout for that in early January. It'll probably be the next video I put out in general, as Christmas is going to be very busy for me this year. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.